Hi there, pup pickers. Graeme Hall here. You probably know me as the dog father, that tall bloke off the telly who wears a cravat and helps people get their dogs to stop doing naughty things. That's me. But working with slightly mischievous adult dogs is only part of what I do. A big part of my 15-year dog training career has always been about helping dog owners to choose, look after and train their new puppies. I love puppies. Who doesn't? I mean, it's a cold-hearted person who's immune to the charms of a loving, snuggly bundle of chaos puppy. And if ever I retire from dog training, I'm sure it'll be the lovely biscuity smell of puppies and the laughter that always comes from them that I'll miss the most. I also love working with puppies because there's so much potential to make a lasting difference to a dog's life and to their owners. There's an old saying, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And I always think puppy training is a bit like that. Don't get me wrong, I firmly believe that you can train any dog at any age, and I'm very proud of the fact that I've never expelled a dog from one of my classes. But if you can get it right, or right-ish, when they're a puppy, well, you're paving the way for a lifetime of reliable, good and safe behaviour. Having said that, the word training increasingly feels like a bit of a misnomer to me, because for me, having a dog is about building a partnership and about communication. It's not about creating a robot. Having managed staff in huge factories and spent many years as special constable, I've learned that good leadership isn't about forcing your workforce or your braying crowd to do something. It's about creating a desire within them to want to do the right thing. Now, the best boss you ever had didn't shout at you or push you or shove you, although you probably wouldn't have wanted to get on the wrong side of them either. Now, subtle, calm and assertive communication, especially body language and tone of voice, will always beat bullying and demands. Now, for me, the same principle applies with dog training. So when we're talking about training, what we're really talking about is establishing an understanding between you and your animal, talking in a language that you both speak fluently, even though you're from two entirely different species. Rather than a dog who does what they're told, I'm always aiming for a dog who understands, anticipates, and responds to you. Back when I started working with dogs, this kind of thinking was, it's kind of frowned upon in training and behaviour circles, where the anthropomorphisation of our dogs was considered sentimental and somehow wrong. The style back then was more authoritarian. You were meant to be the pack leader, which in reality meant bullying your dog into submission, or in the worst cases, brutalising them. Now, thankfully, dog training has come a long way since then, and I've worked with literally thousands of puppies, from the greatest of Great Danes to the tiniest of teacup toy breeds. But perhaps the two puppies who taught me the most about the joys and pains of raising young dogs were my own two Rottweilers, Axel and Gordon, and I had the privilege of owning them in the mid-2000s. Why did I choose Rottweilers? People often ask me that. They do say that people go for dogs who reflect their own personalities, and I guess being quite tall, I always felt an affinity with big dogs, and having spent time with my then-partner's Rottweiler, Hooch, I came to realise that Rotties have a big presence, but they are, generally speaking, cuddly teddy bears lurking under an awful lot of bravado. Make of that what you will. Now, sadly, Hooch passed away in October 2005. We were both grief-stricken, and we thought it would be some time before either of us was ready to take on another dog. We decided that we would spend the money on a nice white sofa instead and enjoy the clean house and the relative peace and quiet of a dog-free home for a while. And then, just a few weeks later, our house was burgled and quite a few items of sentimental value were taken. Now, as a special constable in the police force, I knew from experience what a great deterrent a dog in the house can be against burglaries and unwelcome visitors of any kind. So we decided that maybe we'd look around for a Rottweiler breeder after all. Now, this was October 2005. So we found a Kennel Club listed breeder based on the south coast. We went to see the puppies 2 or 3 times before we finally took young Axel home in February 2006. Now, in fact, the first time I met him, he was about 3 weeks old, and I could hold him in the palm of my hand. Now, by the time he was fully grown, he was a 50-kilo dog, and that was, well, unsurprisingly, no longer possible. I often talk about that breeder and the process of choosing Axel as a great example of how the puppy buying process should go. The breeder was extremely caring and really proud of her dogs, and each time we visited, it felt as though we were being interviewed for a very important job. And that's how it should be.